We're back live from Parkway Bank Sports Complex for Game 3 of the SSA Game of the Week triple header. This game is going to feature the Shooters. After a year in hiatus, they're back. Ray Zarnick and Ronnie Zeman and Mike James. They're back running the group again, and they're putting the team back together again. So we'll see some familiar faces who've played with the Shooters in the past. And they're going to be playing the Playmakers, who are a Southside team. They play a lot of ball out in Oak Lawn. So we're going to have this game very shortly. Gio's holding up pretty good for the third game of the night, and that hour off certainly helped. So let's go over some rules for those of you who may be tuning in a little unfamiliar with the SSA Dome League. First of all, this is Chicago, 16-inch softball. We use a 16-inch clincher, no gloves. The bats tend to be heavier than the 12-inch bats. These guys are swinging anything from a 32 to a 38-ounce bat. Some of them are balanced, some of them are unloaded. The Dome is 210 down the line and 235 to straightaway center field. So you can see they're not very tall fences. You are allowed to hit home runs in here, but you only get 5 per team. There is netting out there. You can see in the corner that dark thing right in the middle of your view. That's actually netting that's going to run out here to maybe 25, 30 feet from dead center. And if it hits the net, it's a home run. You only get 5. No netting in right field. And standard size 60-foot bases, 6'12" arc. Higher the pitch, the shorter it's got to land behind the plate. The flatter, the deeper it can go. And again, we don't use gloves out here. 98% of our softball, 95% of our softball here in Chicago with the 16 inches, no glove. The Slow Pitch Softball Association, the SSA, we have very many ways for you guys to play 16-inch softball. We do have sorry, folks. Fighting a little bit of a chest cold, so bear with me. So anyways, we do have various ways you can play the game. We have our Class B National Championship Tournament, which is played without the gloves. We have our A No Glove National Championship Tournament, which is played obviously no glove. We have an A Glove National Championship Tournament. And then we have the Major National Championship Tournament, which is played with the gloves. Of course, Forest Park, no gloves. National Championship, which we covered extensively, is played with mitts, without gloves, and that is the major version of the National Championship. We also have a Women's National Championship tournament. We have a 50 and over National Championship tournament. So we got you covered, folks. The SSA is where the national champions play. If you need any information, info@ssasoftball.com is our email address. You can find us on Facebook or Twitter by searching at SSA Softball, and our website is ssasoftball.com. So check us out. We're doing real well on the Facebook page. We're closing in on 6,000. So you can see I'm kind of walking around the field here, so this will be a little interesting. Could be hazardous to Gio's health, and we're going to stream an inning or two here and try to stay out of the way. So there's a little foul ball down the left field line. So these are the lineups. We got the Shooters are playing defense, and the Playmakers here are batting. So the Playmaker lineup is some pretty bad writing here. Looks like Keith Kresny, the left fielder, leading off. Mike Trump, right field. Rich looks like maybe Ruth, first base. Dave is catching. Josh Moran at third. Lou Rossi, second base. Bob Nelly, the shortstop. Jeff Selman, the short center. Jimmy DeFalco pitching. And Max in center. So that's your lineup for the Playmakers. So we got the leadoff man up, and he swings and hits a ground ball to the short center. Little bobble makes the play. So that's going to bring up Mike Trump, the right fielder. So again, I got to check my outfield. I feel like I'm a base runner here, folks. So again, we got a left-handed hitter, so we might see something come right into our living room. And there's a line drive, clean hit. Picked up a little bobble. Center fielder throws it in, but the hitter Mike stopped at first. And that's going to bring up Rich, the first baseman, for the Playmakers. Again, Jeff Salmon, longtime guy, runs the team. Southside guy. They play out of Oak Lawn and various other places down south. So again, the first baseman, Rich, is up. So again, this is Rich Ruff. We saw him actually playing second base for Mint earlier in the day. So again, you can play on multiple rosters. Obviously, if Mint was to play the Playmakers, Rich would have to pick a team. Again, the whole idea here is to allow guys to play. So Rich draws a walk, and here comes Dave, the catcher. On the hill here for the shooters is Ronnie Zeman's son, Jake. And there's a line drive, base hit. And that's going to score the first run of the game. So first and second now, as the Playmakers come out here and jump up 1-0 here in the top of the first. The defense and the lineup for the shooters, Rob Swigert in right field. And this is Josh Moran now hitting. And Josh throws it down the right field line. Short hops the right fielder. He's going to get it in. The bases are loaded. So Playmakers are coming out here, and they got the bases loaded and a run in, nobody out, and here's Lou Rossi. Anthony is in center. George Barris extra hitting. Austin Kuthi at first base. Jake Zeman pitching. Tyler Fredrickson at third. Luis Mendez at second. Chris Chacon in left. John Caravilla, the shortstop. And Lou swings and hits a fly ball. He makes the catch, throws it into third. Again, the third baseman kind of strayed there. Jake Zeman was over there, so it's a 2-0 ball game. John Conchero at short center, and Chris Karchubis is catching. So we got a 2-0 game, second and third, one out here in the top of the first, as the Playmakers have jumped ahead. And that'll bring up Bobby Melly, and he hits a ground ball. I lost an out there somewhere, folks. But the Playmakers do scratch. And the shooters, again, Ray Zarnick over at Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep, not only sponsors a lot of the live streaming and the podcasts that we do here at the SSA, but now he brought his shooter team back, so he's back to running a ball club. And again, Ray does so much for 16-inch softball, and a lot of it he does quietly, but just a terrific guy, terrific for the game. So leading off is going to be the right fielder, Robbie Schweigert. He'll be followed by Anthony Siladaldi, the center fielder, and then Georgie Barris. If anybody gets on, Austin Kuth, and then Jake Zeman. So again, I'm pretty sure that Keenan, who played with Miller last year and was the shortstop for the shooter team, is going to be back with them, although I don't see him here today. Jimmy DeFalco on the mound for the shooters. You might know Jimmy from his base bums. And there's a long fly ball way back, and that ball is gone. So leadoff home run by Robbie Schwagert, and that'll cut the lead in half. There you see Jeff Selman, who runs the Playmaker team right here in front of us, 28. Josh Moran coming over. So again, that was a little line drive, and it got out. So that'll be the first home run the shooters get. And again, you kind of hate to use them. With nobody on base, but it's a 2-1 ball game here, bottom of the first. Giving you the view here of what you see as a fielder a little bit. So there's a wild throw back to the pitcher. I hope this doesn't turn out to be like Major League where the kid can't throw it to the mound. Again, just having a little fun. Third game, we're getting a little punchy. And there's a ball hit down the line. It's going to be way foul up on that netting. So this is our third game that we've live streamed today in the SSA Winter Dome League. And there's a hard line drive base hit to right. So both teams really working right field early in the ball game. So after the leadoff home run, Anthony follows up with a hit, and here comes Georgie Barris, the extra hitter today. Georgie also plays a little outfield, and he strokes the ball past Jeff up the middle. Center fielder gets it in, and no opportunity to advance again on this turf. The ball gets to the outfielders very quickly. So the first three hitters here for the shooters all reach, and they'll bring up Austin Kuth. Austin playing first base today. 2-1 ball game, and there's a fly ball and it hits the roof, and the umpire called it foul. So the rule is if the ball hits the roof in foul territory, you can catch it for an out, but if it drops into fair territory, it's still a foul ball. If it hits the roof in fair territory, you can catch it for an out, and if it lands on the carpet, it is a live ball in play. And there's a line drive base hit. You can see that ball really bounces on this turf. Base is loaded. So again, it was a line drive. The center fielder closed on it, so the runners kind of had to make sure it was going to drop. So here's Jake Zeman, the pitcher, and of course his dad, I believe, is in the Hall of Fame, Ron Zeman. And Jake hits a ball. Pitcher, Jimmy DeFalco, gets a hand on it. He'll shuffle to first for the first out. And now they got a pickle going, and Georgie Barris is going to get back. So again, Josh Moran kind of made a quick throw to the catcher, and that allowed Barris to kind of slam the brakes on and get back to third. And the catcher really didn't take a step forward. So in that pickle, you always want to try to run the guy back to the base he came from. And what you really want to do is take a step or two so that he can't, so he gets a little momentum. And there's a high fly ball, and the left fielder calls and makes the catch. That's going to score another run, though. So on those rundowns, you want to throw ahead and run him back to the base he came from. But ideally, you want him to be moving a little bit more than Georgie Barris was. And then as a catcher or whoever you're receiving that throw, you want to be stepping forward so that you can catch and make the tag. And if the guy does stop, then you're running him back. And there's a fly ball. Center fielder's right there, and he puts it away for the third out. So both teams come out swinging a little bit. We'll see what the final total was. Leadoff home run. I believe they might have got 3. So we'll confirm that. They did get 3-2 as we head to the top of the second. Shooters answer the Playmakers with a 3 spot. It looks like Jeff Salmon is going to be leading off for the Playmakers. So both teams came out swinging, and they did a pretty good job of generating offense. So we're going to take a little different view here as we kind of walk around the park here. So there you can see Jeff setting up for his swing. And he swings and he hits a bullet. So right field been the spot in this game. So leadoff hit, they courtesy run for Jeff, and here comes the pitcher, Jimmy DeFalco. And there's a swing and a little flare foul. I never managed Jimmy, but I played 1 year on a team called the Dog Pound, and Jimmy was on that team. So I'd known him for a lot of years. That was one of the, that was the second team I played on in my softball career. And Jimmy slaps it at the shortstop, and he stayed down on it. So good job there by Caravilla. It was a little overhand cut swing, a little short hop right at his feet. He made the play. And here comes Max, the center fielder. And there's a swing. It's a hard ball, and left fielder, a little bobble, but he stuck with it. Got a great jump on it. He got to the line down there and got his 2 hands on it. Ball kind of popped up and hit his shoulder, but he stayed with it. And so we're back to the leadoff man here for the Playmakers. Looks like Keith, the left fielder. And Jake Zeman been around a little bit. And there's a little squibber. That's going to go foul. So again, we're in the top of the second. 3-2 shooters. Again, 1-1 count here in the Dome. So now Keith has got to keep the ball fair. Again, in 16-inch softball, you cannot hit a foul ball with 2 strikes or you're out. So you heard microphone. There's a ground ball, and Jake's going to make that play. So the microphone might have picked up the fact that Jake was telling his first baseman to cheat off the line with 2 strikes. There are guys that'll still go down that line, but you gotta have a set on you to try to paint the line with 2 strikes. So we're just going to kind of keep walking around trying to give you some different angles here in Game 3 of the first ever triple header here in the Dome League. So 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the second, and here come the shooters. Try to get out of the way of the left fielder here. And he swings and hits a ground ball, and it gets through the hole. So the leadoff man is on for the shooters. So Chris Chacon, the left fielder, leads off with a base hit through the shortstop hole, and it'll bring up John Caravilla, the shortstop. John has played a lot of short center, and he's an undersized kid, but I like his game. He knows how to get on base. He's excellent defensively. And, of course, I put the Maluk on him. Short fly ball, handled by the center fielder for the Playmakers, Max. And here comes John Coco Chiario, the short center. So 1 on, 3-2 ball game. Shooters leading here in the bottom of the second. That's the great thing about 16-inch softball. It doesn't matter how you're built. If you got a certain skill or ability to play the game, people will find somewhere for you to be. And there's a ball hit out down the right field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Cut off by the right fielder. They're going to send the leadoff man. So Chris Chacon, the left fielder, was cruising. That ball was fair by about a foot. Right fielder did a great job to get it in to hold him to a single, but the shooters have expanded their lead. And here comes the catcher, Chris Karchubis. And Chris swings, and he pokes it down the right field line. Fair ball. So they're going to send him. So Ray Zarnick over here being very aggressive. That's back-to-back runners scoring on hits down the right field line. And Chris, who's in his 50s, legs out a double. We've seen Chris play a little 50 and over ball at the SSA National Championship Tournament. And that'll bring up the leadoff man, the right fielder, Robbie Schweigert, who led off with a home run, and he hits this ball off the fence. So they're going to send Chris, and even though he's an older guy, he's going to score on the mishandle. And Robbie Schweigert, who's got a solo homer, hits a double and cruises into third. So he's hit the ball right on the screws twice. The home run was a line drive. It wasn't a lazy fly ball. That's going to bring up Anthony, the center fielder. So the shooter's getting out of the gate good. And there's a long fly ball, long run for the center fielder, and that hits off the wall. So back-to-back bombs off the wall in right center here. And the shooters got their offense in high gear early here. And I'll bring up Georgie Barris, the extra hitter. So talking a little bit with Ray Zarnick, he was saying that, they got a lot of younger kids, which is his normal MO. Ground ball and big rough, going to make that play. So Ray was telling me he was just curious to see how the team was going to look. Some of these guys did play on the shooters a couple of years ago. Like we said, they took a 1 year off, hiatus, if you will. And so they got some new faces, so it's always interesting to see how things go. Thanks for jumping in, Rich, and helping Kimberly out. It's a 16-inch clincher, no gloves. And there's a ground ball to the shortstop. He picks it up and makes a routine play. So we'll rotate around and we'll see what they got that inning there. But another good inning is the shooters have come out here the first 2 innings, and they're swinging the bats pretty good. And we see Mike Lewis, our umpire, so 7-2. So the shooters, after getting 3 in the first, again, just giving you a little view here of the field. So the shooters, after scoring 3 in the first, tack on another 4 in the bottom of the second. So here come the Playmakers now, trying to get back into the ballgame a little bit. See Ray Zarnick over there.
Hey.
Fine sponsor from Mapleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep at River Oaks.
Happy to be back, Gio. Happy to be back.
So I know it's early, but what do you think about how your groups look so far?
I'll tell you what, Gio, what we did is we mixed a lot of speed into our lineup now, so we're going to have some it's going to be pretty good at the top and the bottom of the order. The order is going to be a lot of speed with the power guys in the middle. It's going to be very interesting.
And there's a fly ball here by the leadoff man, and that's going to be a easy catch for the left fielder. Yeah, I don't see Keenan out here, but I assume he'll be in the mix.
Yeah, Keenan's at a business party tonight, so he's not going to make it tonight. But he'll be in there at shortstop. So, listen, I'm happy to have two Hall of Famers with me. Ron Zeman and Tony Prushenski's going to come out and help coach with me. It's going to be pretty cool having these guys with the talent. So we're excited.
Nice. That's Ray Zarnick. If you need a car, go see him over at River Oaks. And Ray jumping back in and sponsoring. So the leadoff man, Mike Trump, flew out, and here comes Rich Ruff, and he hits a ball right at Jake Zeman. So Jake having kind of a busy day, but he's made a couple of nice plays. And again, it's 7-2 here. So we saw a little bit in the second game when Hex jumped up on the team they were playing, that sometimes you kind of get down a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on there. There's a good hard line drive base hit. So Dave, the catcher, pounds the ball through the hole for a base hit. And here comes Josh Moran. So if you're the Playmakers, you don't need it all, but you need to, get something. Now, I believe there's 2 outs, so what you really kind of want to do here is maybe try to steal a run or two. And Josh hits the ball right at the second baseman. He goes the short way. Okay, I have a feeling that maybe the second baseman maybe didn't know that there were 2 outs. He went to second, but the shorter throw would have actually been to first. So we're going to head to the bottom of the third in a 7-2 ball game. So again, the Playmakers got a few guys here. Looks like Jake Zeman, the pitcher, is going to lead off. Jake followed by Tyler Fredrickson, and then Luis Mendez. If anybody gets on, Chris and John. So 7-2 right now. New look shooters have come out pretty good. And Jake, little half hard cut, throws it over the infield for a hit. So right now, shooters look pretty loose right now. Here's Tyler Fredrickson, the third baseman. And he swings, it's a ground ball to Josh. Little bobble, long throw, safe. So again, we're early in the dome season. You see Josh look like he was going to try to grab, and then he was going to try to open up and throw for the force out, and the ball just kind of jumped up on him on that second hop. Again, on the turf, the tendency is you get the first hop, and the second hop tends to skip a little bit because of the overspin on the ball. So if you're not used to catching balls on it, and there's a rocket right at the left fielder, he can't make the peg. So that was a sinking line drive to left, folks. That ball was scalded. Left fielder went down, couldn't make the catch. That ball was really sinking. And so for the second inning in a row, the shooters have loaded the bases. They lead 7-2 here in the third. And there's a ground ball to short, and he'll go the short way for the force out. But another run does score, 8-2. So 1 out, first and second now for the shooters as they push another run across. And here comes John Caravilla, the shortstop. And John swings and he punches it toward second. Lou Rossi too deep to make a play. So John runs pretty good down the line. He kind of saw that Lou Rossi was playing real deep at second. And as a result, by the time Lou picked the ball up, he had no play. Bases loaded again, 1 out. And here comes John, the short center. So like I said, Caravilla knows how to get on base. He surveyed the situation, saw that Lou was playing very deep, and took advantage of it. And again, you really don't want to play that deep on a guy that can run like Caravilla, because by doing that, you not only, and so with the bases loaded, Jimmy DeFalco walks in a run, and that'll bring up Chris Karchubis, who got a double down the right field line. So again, when you play that deep, you take away a force out, and if Caravilla does hit the ball hard enough, and there's an error there by Rich Ruff, and that's going to score a couple of runs. So the Playmakers struggling a little bit right now defensively, and the shooters are taking advantage of it as they've just kind of continued. And that gets you to Robbie Schweigert, who's got a solo homer and a double off the wall in right center. And he swings and he pulls that hard to Ruff. Nice play there by the big guy. Caught the ball, threw it accurately. That was the shortstop who was covering second. Jeff Salmon was way over for the lefty, so the shortstop was covering the bag, but the left-handed runner a little too quick for a double play. And here's Anthony, the center fielder. So the shooters right now clicking offensively, taking advantage of some bobbles, and they've jumped up to a sizable lead here in Game 3 of the triple header, live from Parkway Bank Sports Complex. Live stream sponsored by Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep. And there's a ball, it's going to get over the head of the right fielder, and it's going to be a triple. So again, folks, the turf here is very lively. The ball was hit into the gap, it hit on the turf, it popped up. The right fielder had a long way to go to get there. He got a hand on it, but the ball ended up rolling to the fence for a triple. And here's George Barris. And there's a high fly ball, and the left fielder makes the catch, and that's going to end the inning. So we'll see what the total is on the damage. So the shooters, you can see free and easy. Playmakers scored 2 in the top of the first, and it's been all shooters since. And again, that's why you always need to kind of maintain contact. So the Playmakers now are going to have to do a little work. 13-2 here in the top of the fourth. Looks like Lou Rossi is going to lead off, followed by Bobby Nelly, and then Jeff Salmon. If anybody gets on, Jimmy DeFalco, and then Max. So Lou Rossi can pretty much, he's a guy, Lou can go to either gap. Wouldn't surprise me if he hit one right at me here. And you can see we're not that far out here on the grass. And ground ball right to Jake Zeman. So Jake having a good defensive game on the hill. 13-2 here. Third and final game of the night on the triple header cast. Here comes Bobby. Looks like Nelly, the shortstop. Kid's got a pretty good arm. They didn't get the double play last inning, but he came over the bag and was really running and just really snapped off a good hard throw. And there's a long fly ball. And that ball is going to short hop the fence. It stayed in play for a stand-up double. So again, you're down 13-2. You've got a tall order. Here's Jeff Salmon, the manager. I played center field one year, folks, and that was always the hard part. When you had a runner and you were trying to figure out where to stand to be able to see. And Jeff hits a ball right past us. So you saw Jeff Salmon hit that ball right over the top of our head for a base hit. And that's going to score a run. And they were going to go pinch run. But, you know, sometimes when you're a manager, even when you will take that courtesy, you kind of think about more about your team. So you don't really want your group necessarily to have to, you know, beat a guy up running. So sometimes you bite the bullet. And Jimmy slaps a ball into the open hole. So Georgie Barris, a little fumble. And that's going to let Jeff Salmon head into third base. So one out, first and third. Playmakers have played it a run, chasing. And trying to crawl back into the ball game. And that'll bring up Max, the center fielder. And there's a ground ball right at the short center. Throw to first, double play to end the rally. So again, Max looks like a young kid. Good pitch there by Jake Zeman. Threw him something flat outside, and he rolled his top hand over. And as a result of that, he hit the ball right up the middle. And short center kept his behind down and then turned and made the play. So 13-3 here in the fourth. The mercy rule is a little different here in the Dome. The SSA normally, when we're outside in the summer, it's 12 after 5. Here in the Dome, it's 12 after 5, but only 10 after 6. And a lot of that is just because of some time constraints. So far, a good debut for the new-look shooter team. And there's Ronnie Zeman coaching first. And his son, Jake Zeman, is on the hill. Of course, Ronnie was a terrific pitcher, very good defensively. So here's the first baseman, Austin Kuthi, leading off with Jake Zeman on deck. 13-3, bottom of the fourth, shooters. So again, you heard when we were doing the interviews earlier when Mint got done playing that this Dome is kind of like spring training. And Austin, great play by Lou Rossi up the middle. So Lou, an older guy, tore up his Achilles a few years back. And Lou got a great read on that. He always did have good hands. He used to play a lot of third base as well. And he makes a nice running catch up the middle. And that'll bring up Jake Zeman, the pitcher, with Tyler Fredrickson, the third baseman, on deck. So one out here in the fourth. Again, if you like some of the stuff we do, come visit us. And Jake hits a ball down the line. That's going to be a fair ball into the corner. And Jake is going to hustle in, and not the prettiest slide in the world, but he makes it. So Jake Zeman with a hustle double there. So some of the shooter guys are having a little fun with that slide. And there's a long fly ball. That ball is gone. So Tyler Fredrickson hits a high fly ball that gets out. and that'll be a 2-run homer. So the shooters right now are free swinging, folks. And that's a dangerous thing when a club is loose and relaxed. And that's going to bring up Luis Mendez, the second baseman. And Luis hits a rocket right at Jeff Salmon. So the 2 outs in this inning were bullets, with Lou Rossi making a running extended catch, and Jeff Salmon, a couple of steps, had to go down on a knee, but stayed with it and made the catch. And here's Chris, the left fielder. And he hits a rocket right at Rich Ruff. So those are 3 hard outs in an inning there, folks. So 15-3 as we head to the 5th inning. Playmakers need a couple of runs if they want to extend the ball game. So we'll give you a little behind the plate. So the shooters did make 3 outs in that inning, but they were all missiles. So now we're standing right behind home plate, so I'm going to go to my golf announcer voice. So the shooters in their debut here, now that they're back together, pretty good looking ball club, and they don't have everybody out here, missing what should be a big part of their team, which is Keenan, who will be at shortstop. I would imagine Caravilla is going to go back up the middle, and the short center will either go to the outfield or he'll go to second base, I would assume. And there's a fly ball to second. So that was the leadoff man, Keith, who made the out, and here comes Mike Trump. Mike hits a bullet up the middle. Caravilla got a good jump on it, got 2 hands on it, but can't make the play. So here comes Rich Ruff now, playing first base. We saw him playing second base earlier tonight. And Rich swings, and that ball is gone. There wasn't much doubt about that, folks. So the Playmakers needed 2 runs to extend the game past the 5th, and Rich Rush just put him on the board. He got on that back leg, he posted up, and he turned the hands loose, and that ball was smoked, folks. And that'll bring up the catcher, Dave. That was a no doubt about her to right center. That ball probably went about 255. And there's a rocket up the middle. So the Playmakers hitting the ball all of a sudden. Comes Josh Moran. So we're in a 15-5 game here in the 5th. Like we said, it's 12 after 5 and 10 after 6. There's another hit. So the Playmakers now stringing some hits together. 15-5, first and third. and Lou hits a ground ball to Austin. He's going to make that play, but another run scores. So now it's 15-6. The runner on second, 2 outs. So the Playmakers making a little noise here in the 5th inning. Apparently they didn't feel like they wanted to go home just yet. And there's another ball pounded through the infield. 15-7. So here comes Jeff Salmon. So nice hit there by Bobby, the short center. And Jeff swings and he hits a ground ball down the line. So they're working on about a 5-run inning, if my math is right. They've cut this to 7. And there's a ball fading toward the gap. The center fielder got a good jump, though, makes the catch. So 15-7, a 4-spot there. And they cut into that 12-run lead. They got it down to 8. So the Playmakers showing some signs of life. Apparently didn't want to, like we said, didn't want to go home just yet. And we will see here what the shooters do in response to that little mini rally. Huh? So here come the shooters now. They were up 15-3. Now it's 15-7. Ground ball to Jeff Salmon. He bobbles it, stayed with it, and made the play. So again, I think that was an example of, I think John running down the line there had that brief momentary depression that we get as hitters when we don't do what we want, and didn't really get out of the box and run too hard. And then after the bobble, it was too late to shift gears. And there's a ground ball. Josh Morant sucks it up. So the Playmakers got a little bounce in their step now all of a sudden. They were on the verge of the mercy rule, and they've come back to make it 15-7 here in the bottom of the 5th. And the shooters now, first 2 guys made outs. So realistically now the shooters, if they don't get anything going here with 2 outs, and there's a little flare. And again, Josh Moran, who's played a lot of outfield, had no problem. Little miscommunication, not too much. Left fielder did break. Josh called it a little late. And now if you're the Playmakers, you're in the 6th inning, 15-7. You're down 8, but you're showing a little sign of life. So right now, if you're the shooters, you still got 2 at-bats. And again, we're in the dome where leads aren't necessarily safe all the time. Looks like Jimmy DeFalco and Max, followed by Keith, going to be leading off here, the top 3. If anybody gets on, Mike Trump, and then Rich Ruff, who hit the long 2-run bomb. So if you're the Playmakers, you'd like to get a few guys on and maybe see if Rich Ruff could maybe go yard again. So 15-7. If you're the shooters now, you just got to relax. You're still in charge of the ball game. Still got an 8-run lead. So, if I was in Vegas, I'd still be betting on them. There's a hard ground ball. It skips past the third baseman. So the leadoff man is on. We should be seeing a courtesy runner here for Jimmy DeFalco. So the Playmakers all of a sudden mounting a rally. And it looks like Fredrickson's going to go out there and run for Jimmy DeFalco. Not Fredrickson, I'm sorry. I think that's Bobby, the shortstop. Again, the previous out was Jeff Salmon, but he's and there's another bobble, and there's a throw up the line. Austin came off the bag. Good job to make sure that ball didn't go up the line. You see the right fielder there, Georgie Barris, never moved. If that ball gets past Austin and rolls up the line, that could have been big trouble. So if you're a young outfielder, if you're a right fielder and you see your infielder bobble the ball and he's going to rotate the throw, you got to hustle and get yourself into a position. And there's another hit. And Georgie Barris throws it to third. 15-8 ball game. So the first three guys get on here. Playmakers score a run to make it 15-8. Now they got 2 on and Mike Trump with the big man, Rich Ruff, on deck. I'm telling you, if Mike Trump gets a hit here, folks, this game could get real interesting real fast. So Bobby, the shortstop, is going to courtesy run again. And that, folks, is why you never want to be the last out. Although I don't believe he made an out. It was just the guy hitting behind him is a courtesy. And Mike tried to go big. It's going to be a fly ball. So Max is going to cruise into third, no problem. First and third, 1 out. And here comes Rich Ruff, who absolutely destroyed a ball his last time up. If he duplicates that, this game is going to be very tight. Still got 1 out only in the inning. You can see last time up, Jake Zeman flattened out outside part of the plate. Now he's making a point of trying to keep it up, but it big guy didn't matter. Just turned and burned on it. Another run scores, and now you got first and second. And here comes the catcher, Dave. So the Playmakers, after being on the verge of going home early, have come out and just started to pound the ball. Again, you see Jake was trying to stay high, but Rich got his hands up above it and still humped that. There's a little chopper, a nice play by Jake, and they're going to try to double. Can't get him. But Jake Zeman, again, good job getting off the mound and making a play. 2 outs. First and second. And here's Josh Moran. So the Playmakers, all of a sudden, the last 2 innings really have woken up, and there's a ball right at the second baseman. So we'll rotate around and see if we can catch the score. Looks like they might have got 3 more in that inning. 15-10. So it was 15-3. Now it's 15-10 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. So very good job here by the Playmakers punching back and getting back into the ball game. This thing's heated up as the Playmakers have scored the last 7 runs of the ball game. So now if you're the shooters, again, you're still in good position because you are up 5 runs. But as they say, a little insurance never hurt. And And there's a swing and a ball got hit out toward the gap. Base hit. So there you go. Another hit, I believe, for Schweier. He's having a heck of a ball game. So Robbie Schweigert, long ball foul down the line. Robbie Schweigert has got the home run and a pair of doubles. And here comes the center fielder with Georgie Barris on deck. So that's a good start here for the Shooters. And he swings and he flares one out. Good jump by the center fielder. So a little awkward slide there. So kids, if you're going to slide, you don't want to, never want to slide late, and especially when you're playing on turf. Now he looks like he's got some type of a molded football cleat there. That's how you get injured. So just go ahead. If you're going to slide, slide. Don't do it halfway. Once you get in between, that's when you get injured. You might as well just lay out and go ahead and just sit right into your slide and be fine. And Georgie Barris hits. He's going to beat him in the gap, and that ball is going to be a ground rule double. So again, it looked like Josh Moran, who was playing third, went out to left field this inning. And Josh was playing him a little short and toward the line. And Georgie just perfectly hit that ball into the gap, a little fly ball. Here comes Austin. So the Shooters snap back and get back to playing a little offense here, and they've padded their 5-run lead here. And there's a little flare, fair ball down the right field line. So Austin is going to hustle into second. So he's had a pretty good ball game. Here comes Jake Zeman. And just like that, the Shooters now have reestablished that lead. Again, folks, we are in the bottom of the 6th, so if the Shooters should get to a 10-run lead again, this game would be over. And Jake Zeman was really trying to go big, and he flies out. That'll be the second out of the inning. And here comes Tyler Fredrickson. So I want to say it's a 7-run lead. Could be 8. If it's 8 and he goes yard, the game's over. But I think it's 7. There's a ground ball to third. Makes the play. So we're going to head to the top of the 7th. Good job there by the Shooters to come back after the Playmakers were trying, excuse me, trying to crawl back into the game. And they did pick up 2, so we're at 17-10 now. Disregard the horn, folks. So Lou Rossi coming up. I don't know if the Shooters want me standing back here. The last time I did that, the Playmakers threw up a few. So 17-10 here, folks. Top of the 7th. So the Shooters, after the game got a little tighter, at 15-10, came out and got themselves some insurance in the bottom of the 6th. And here's Lou Rossi leading off for the Playmakers. And Lou skies one into short left field. And center fielder, left fielder overran it a little bit and didn't make the catch. And here's Bobby, who ran for several people in the last inning. We'll see if he's got anything left in his legs after all of that courtesy run. Again, 17-7, and he smokes one to center, right at the center fielder, and he puts it away. Lou scampers back. It's a pretty good looking swing. He just hit it right at the center fielder. So here comes Jeff Salmon. And Jeff hits a little flare. That could be trouble. It's going to drop. You see you're down 7. Lou couldn't go anywhere because he had to make sure it wasn't caught. And you can see Bobby's going to have to go run. So you see Jeff is telling him no, trying to save the kid who's been running nonstop. And here comes Jimmy DeFalco, the pitcher. And Jimmy, he was just trying to pooch at the center, got a little too much of it. Jimmy's capable of doing that. What you realistically want to do is maybe that same swing, but toward either gap. When you hit it right at straightaway center, it's an easier play. So here comes Max. He had a big hit last inning when they scored 4. He swings hard ground ball right at Caravilla, makes the play. And that's going to do it, boys. So the shooters held on. Playmakers tried to make a little noise late in the ball game, but it wasn't enough. And the shooters looked pretty good their first time out with the new group. So for SSA Broadcast, this is Gio saying we hope you like the triple header. We'll be doing more stuff out here at the Dome. We should have a weekly podcast show coming live from the 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame this weekend. So tune in. We got some interesting stuff we're going to show you, including the Clyde Park Trophy presentations to several Solutions team members that won awards from the Clyde League, which is run by the SSA. So we'll have that live for you on the podcast and some other surprises. So for the SSA broadcast, Napleton Chrysler Dodge Jeep, this is Gio signing off from the first ever Dome League triple header. But so they're trying to bring interviews, but we already got Ray Zarnick. So you can see the Dome is shut down. This was the last game going on. So again, thanks for tuning in, folks. Watch some of the other broadcasts. You'll see some good stuff as always. So have a good night. Be safe. We'll see you soon.